Yes, we can start.
Great. So, Monica, was I able to explain that there's actually two different things that the woman does in Revelation 17?
I find it very interesting that there are those two types of symbols.
You can speak now. Sorry.
Oh, I find it very interesting that
Oh,
there
she
are.
she hasn't he hasn't translated fully. Now,
Um, did he translate me or you before? Because I don't
he
know.
translated you, I guess, I
Ah, okay,
believe.
okay. But I have another question that is rising in me.
Yeah.
That how can
Yeah.
you have this type of human relationship with a throne? And um, that is basically what I said at the beginning. It's a question that rose in our group.
That's
That
a great question.
Yeah, that with a throne, you cannot have a relationship or commit fornication. Sorry, not fornication, adultery.
Great. And you're right. You cannot commit fornication with the throne. I don't know if I would have time to provide my own answer to that. Probably other speakers would explain it differently, but we leave it for last if we still have time. If not, someone else, I believe, will do it. So I hope that at least the part that I said, the woman does two things in Revelation 17. Probably she does more things, but two primary things that we're focusing, and that is riding a beast or committing fornication with the kings. And as always, when there's two symbols, it's because there's two different purposes. One symbol will give you details about something that you need to know, and the other symbol will give you other details that you need to. Now let's try to understand the beast itself. Well, we have to finalize the definitions of woman, beast, and head. And hopefully, by doing so, we would be able to also answer Monica's first question. How come the woman can have a relationship with a beast that was dead? I think that's what you said. So we have this structure. Uh, I hope I can, let me try take this out and put it somewhere else. And let's talk about the woman bee's head. I think we now have a better understanding that when we talk about woman and beast, we're talking about the left side. We're talking about rider horse, not uh let me put it here, not fornication. So this is symbol A and symbol B. When we're going to define this, uh, we're mostly speaking about symbol A. In the ICM, some of the definitions that were given was that a woman is an entity, but that the beast was an institution. And now there's something else we need to take from this symbol. We talked about what the horse has to offer to the rider. In simple terms, it's the physical power of the horse, the physical abilities. So the horse has to give to the woman power. I'm gonna put physical power. I don't think that's the way. Uh, is it like this? I don't know how to spell physical.
I think it's correct.
Okay, we understand. Um, and we know that the horse doesn't need anything from the woman. But I'm not talking about what the horse needs. I'm talking about what each party provides. The horse has the physical power. That's why the woman wants to sit upon the beast because of the power. But the horse will never have something that the woman has, that the rider has. Yeah, the beast or the horse will never have something that the rider has. And what is it?
The intellectual capacity.
Great. So we could put here intellect because the woman, being a human, has something that in English is called agency. I don't know. Okay, let me look for. Okay, there's two type of agencies. Yeah. Uh, let's say the woman can take decisions of her own. We know humans have purposes. We have goals. But the beast, the horse, they don't really have a goal. They're not accomplishing something. So when we say that the woman has agency, she's an independent uh, entity that has its own ideas. In other words, a woman has an ideology, but the horse do not. So the horse doesn't have an ideology, set of beliefs and ideas. I just wanted to say this because you can see it in the symbol. The horse doesn't have the ideology. The horse doesn't know that the horse is going to a city or to another place. It doesn't know where it's going. It only knows that it's being controlled. But who has the destination? Who knows the address? Who knows who is going to, where it's going to? Is the person on top, the human. So that's also why part of the definition of woman, it's an entity with an ideology. I don't know if all of you have heard or have had discussions with other people when they say, "Oh, I don't have any political, let's say, ideology." Have you had conversation with people that say that they don't follow any particular candidate, they don't vote for anyone because they don't have any ideology? I think the word is apolit apolitical, like non-political. What do you say to someone that says they don't have any ideology?
I think it's the word that you used, apolitical.
And do you think someone can be apolitical?
They would have to be in the state where they don't care. I think I was there to a certain time period.
Yeah, and you, Thomas, you were saying? So Thomas is also saying that sometimes people do not even know that they are in a political side. They just don't know. What do you think? Yeah, you can translate. What do you say, Monica? When you didn't care, probably you were in a political side, just that you didn't know. Do you agree?
I'm not sure,
Okay.
because I believed all politics is bad, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it, neither of the sides.
But when it comes to particular positions, you have positions.
Yes.
Uh, so when people talk about political parties or candidates, they say, "Oh, I don't support any."
Hmm.
But when you go to specific policies, they do say opinions.
You are right.
And that is part of what many have also have tried to make people understand. Everyone is political. It's impossible not to be. You have opinions. And that also forces you to accept that everyone has an ideology. Whether we can define it or not, we do have an ideology. Just by the fact that we are humans, we have an ideology. Uh, so the woman has an ideology, uh, and it is being called an entity. Someone want to say something?
Já jsem chtěl říct, že ti apolitičtí lidé se mi zdají být ovládáni, protože vlastně se o to nezajímají a tak jsou trochu podobně jako by tomu zvířeti, no.
He said that people who are apolitical, they are similar to that animal because they don't care, they're not interested, they are being controlled somehow.
Okay.
Něco? A to si já nemyslím, protože si myslím, že každý má nějaký náhled na věci, co se kolem něj dějou. Že prostě nemůže být, nezajímá jakoby v uvozovkách o politiku, tak přesto má každý člověk názor na dění kolem sebe.
He disagrees with Peter. She says that even if people do not care about politics, they all have opinions on things that are happening around them. So they do have their own politics, they're just not interested in maybe being involved somehow.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. Do you have something to answer to Radmila? I mean, I think she answered to, was it Peter? I wanted to know if he had something to say. Okay. I guess not.
Já jsem chtěl jenom říct, že prostě když něčemu člověk nerozumí, tak ho to může ovládat, no.
What I meant to say is that when someone doesn't understand things, he's easier to be controlled.
Okay. Fair enough. I want to talk a little bit about why the word entity is chosen when speaking about a woman. And when we look at the seven kingdoms, there's one of them that we know the most, which is the fifth kingdom. The papal era of the Roman Empire. And in this case, we know the woman was the papacy. The papacy being the institution, the institution that holds the papal seat, the papal power. So I believe when the five speakers were studying this topic, and Elder Parmenter, they knew that the woman in the fifth kingdom was an institution because it was the papacy. But when they looked for the woman in the other four, or for example, Babylon, there was no institution found. The only thing that was able to be found was a person. In that case was Nebuchadnezzar. And an easy way to prove it, that Nebuchadnezzar was the person with the ideology that was controlling the beast. It's, for example, when God tells Nebuchadnezzar that his kingdom is only the head of gold. And that his kingdom was going to end at some point, and other kingdoms will come in the future. What was Nebuchadnezzar's reaction? The following chapter.
On chtěl, aby jeho království zůstalo na věky.
I guess Monica.
He wanted that his kingdom stays forever.
So there you see ideology. He has a specific purpose. He wants his kingdom to remain forever. Yes? You mean Thomas is Mhm. Thomas is asking about the point or the time where Nebuchadnezzar said, gave glory to God, and even said that everyone should give glory to God. Yeah, in Nebuchadnezzar's own life, he went through phases too. And at some point, when he got too pride, God punished him. Uh, but at the beginning, he decided, no, I want my kingdom to exist forever. So what you asked about, Thomas, I think happened after he was punished. And that is just to, but I'm bringing up Nebuchadnezzar and the statue just to prove that depending on what Nebuchadnezzar believes, his kingdom is going to do. Like the actions of that kingdom are going to be dependent on the ideology of Nebuchadnezzar. But you can jump forward in history and go to his son or grandson, Belshazzar. Remember when the story of Mene Mene Tekel Upharsin was going to take place? He also had an ideology. And then, well, he was conquered that night. So what I'm trying to say is that we were so focused on the fifth kingdom and the papacy being the woman that we forgot that the woman is sitting upon the whole beast. There is a woman on the fourth, on the third, and on the first. And it doesn't look the same. You won't find the papacy that was here in number 5. You're not going to find it in number 1. But we don't need to. We need to understand the symbol, understand that it's a relationship between rider and horse, and focusing on symbol A. We could use symbol B. But talking about symbol A, we know that you need to look for the entity that has the intellect, the agency. The, the decision maker. And when you do that, you realize that sometimes the woman is the person who is also the king. So sometimes the woman is an institution like the papacy, or sometimes it's just a person. So the best word to use is entity. Is a word vague enough to explain that entity can be an institution, can be a person, it can be several things. And then an entity can be a person or an institution. And then you add the part of ideology to make sure. So you make sure that we understand that it's not any type of entity, it's an entity that has an ideology. Because of the symbol of the writer. Then you do the same thing with the beast. You look for the beast in all dispensations. And you realize that in all scenarios, it is always an institution. It's an institution, but not any type of institution. It's political. And it has power. And one more thing. It's a political institution with power, controlled by the woman. Why you do that? Because you look at all the kingdoms, and then you look at the beast, and you know that the beast is beast when it is controlled by the woman. So let's try to work that out. So the beast is the whole kingdom of Satan through 7 phases. And there's one phase that is different than the other 7, the other 6. And we need to find out what makes the 6th kingdom be so different. In fact, it's the only phase that it is said that the beast is not. Can you read in 17:8 that it says is not? What does it say in Slovak? It says is not? So as simple as that, you need to find a way to explain the beast is, but there's a period that is not. How can we do that? How can we understand when it is not? So I would suggest,
Můžu?
yeah,
Ve Švýcarsku jsme to probírali Parminderem a došli jsme k tomu, že to je otázka vztahu, že pokud ta šelma je ten vztah šelmy a ženy, tak když ten vztah se rozpadne, tak ta šelma není.
In Switzerland, we were talking about this with Elder Parminder, and he was explaining that this is the matter of relationship. So when there is this relationship between the two, that's the time when the beast is. And when the relationship is broken, that's the time when the beast is not.
great. So you're already familiar with that. Let me see if I understand what was said. You're basically telling me that when you take the person away, the beast is not. And
Môžem sa spýtať k tomu niečo?
when the person comes back, the beast is again.
Peter has a question.
No ako to dáme do súvislosti s tým veršom 16. v tej 17. kapitole, lebo vtedy v podstate tá šelma nenávidí smilnicu a spustoší ju. Spolu s 10 kráľmi, no.
How do we put this together with the verse 16, where it says that the beast will hate the woman and will destroy her together with the 10 kings?
I think it's the 10 kings, the 10 horns who are going to hate the woman, right? Not the beast. So there is another layer of complexity, which is the horns. Which are 10, and they hate the woman in the future. We haven't arrived there. I think this is for the next dispensation after the close of probation. I know we will understand what the horns are.
A to je ako keby iná fáza šelmy, hej, v podstate.
So it's a different phase of the beast. Is that what you mean?
I don't really know, so I cannot say if we can call it a different phase. I just don't know what the 10 horns are. I have no idea. But we definitely need to know what it is. Hopefully soon. I don't know. We all need to study and use methodology. But we are not there yet. That we can be sure. But as it was said, the beast is when the woman is on top. When the woman is not on top, then is not. So we can basically do this. Here the beast is. Here the beast is not because there's no woman on top. And then it will be again. And what we are saying, the Sunday law, it's the point when the woman sits again. Simple. Then we go understand what the beast is, political institution with power. Controlled by the woman. That allows us to also explain head. We know the head is simply the dispensations of that beast. And we can see that the head, the number one head, was controlled by the woman. All of the heads are controlled by the woman. But it's only the sixth that is not. So that tells us that sometimes the heads are controlled by the woman and sometimes they are not. Actually, I have to put this underneath to say the beast is not. I'm going to put it down here. Oops, what happened? Okay. So the head is simply the same thing as the beast. Political institution with power. And the part that says controlled by the woman, we don't put. Because the beast is sometimes, the head, it's sometimes controlled by the woman and sometimes it's not. So as I said, the Sunday law, it's the moment when the beast is controlled by the woman again. When the woman sits on top. And in all cases, the beast is the political institution that has the power. This is why we, for example, in Babylon, understand that beast to be the throne of Babylon. And that's why when we go to the sixth kingdom, we understand that there is also a head. This head. The sixth head. And the sixth head, as we said, it's a political institution with power. So that's how we know the political institution exists during the sixth kingdom. What I want us to understand is that when it says that the woman is, when it says that the beast is dead, it's basically telling us that the woman was taken away. She fell from the horse. And now there's no beast. That's why it says the beast was, it is not, and will be again. But in that gap where there's no beast, and we say no beast because for the beast to be beast, there has to be a woman on top. But that gap has to be filled with someone. I mean, by some power. And that power is understood to be the sixth kingdom of Bible prophecy. Which is unique. Unique in the sense that this scarlet woman is not sitting on top. So first summary that I want to give. We have several ways to explain what the Sunday law is. And we have a very unique way to do it now. The Sunday law waymark, it's when the woman seated on the beast again. Now, remember when I said that nobody can be a political? The same way, political institutions cannot be apolitical. They always have some ideology. So when we say that during the sixth kingdom, there's no ideology, because the bad woman was taken away, we need to fill the gap. We need to find a woman. Sitting upon the head. Do you understand that? I mean, am I forcing things, or can you see it? The beast had an ideology during the five first kingdoms. Because it had an entity with an ideology controlling that beast. But then that entity with ideology is missing during the sixth kingdom. But there's still a political power, a political institution. And political institutions always have an ideology. It means they have an entity with an ideology controlling them. And we suddenly are forced to find another entity with ideology.
I think I have a little problem with this.
Can you speak now again? I couldn't hear you.
Yes, I have a problem of thinking of political institution as something with ideology. But I just realized that's what the papacy was. It was an institution with ideology.
It wasn't political, right? It was religious.
Yeah.
Probably the words that I should have used was political institutions. I think we can go with that. I think political institutions have ideology. That's why they are political. But in our language of Revelation 17, what we actually say is, well, there's an entity that controls the political institution, and that entity has an ideology. But that in practical terms, it ends up being the same thing. The political institution always has an ideology. So, but this is what I yeah,
somehow
go ahead.
have problem with this because political institution can be used one way or another. And can I speak?
You now can speak now.
Yes. Like if we go to the picture of the horse and the rider,
Mhm.
it's the rider who decides whether they go left or right. The horse doesn't have an agenda.
Exactly. That's true.
So if the horse is the political institution, they don't have ideology, they don't have agenda.
Like a purpose. Yeah, you said it perfectly. Now, it is our decision based on methodology. Are we saying that the sixth kingdom was a horse running, wild, like with no purpose? Or the sixth kingdom had a purpose?
It did have a purpose.
You can speak now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
It did have a purpose.
Okay. So,
But there was, to my understanding, that's what we call the good woman sitting on the throne. Or is that wrong?
yeah,
So it's not the throne that has ideology, it's the woman that has ideology.
yeah, you're totally right about that. Is the woman that has the ideology. I guess I was looking for a way to makes us see that a political institution always has an ideology.
Yes. And that's what I have a problem with.
Yeah, I understand. But I'm using worldly terms. We, of course, know political institutions are not empty buildings. No institution is an empty building. Political institutions have different departments, people, roles, hierarchy. and there's someone on top of that political institution who is the one directing the most important decisions, and that person has an ideology. So it ends up being a person. I was playing with my words, and that maybe confuses. When I say a political institution always has an ideology, I'm actually saying a political institution, it's always being controlled by someone.
Okay. Because the way I understood was that you were saying that the political institution, which we defined as head, has an ideology.
Yeah, you're making a perfect distinction. You can go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I understood you to say, that the head has the ideology.
Basically, we could say the head always needs to have the entity with ideology.
Okay, that I can agree with.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
That I can agree with.
Perfect. And so that's the moment when the good woman arrives. Parabolically, we know that there has to be a woman. During the sixth kingdom has to be someone directing, but it's not the scarlet woman of Revelation 17. It's not Babylon, the mother of harlots, riding that head. And this is where the term fornication becomes even more useful. Because there's a relationship here of someone already having a relationship in another relationship. Yeah, so now we know that when the bad woman comes back again, it's coming back, but the political institution had a woman already. Meaning the beast is dead only because it doesn't have the bad woman on top. But the challenge prophetically for us is that the political institution that the bad woman is going to take back is the same political institution that the good woman is on top. Small parenthesis. Let's go from 1 to 2. There was a throne in Babylon, right? And the power that is coming is the Medes and Persians. The Medes and Persians, they have their own throne. They're just going to conquer the territory of Babylon. And now the woman with ideology, it's whoever is writing the Medes and Persians. No fornication. By fornication, I'm trying to say is not that a woman tried to take the throne from the previous kingdom. What happened here was a political transition between a stronger kingdom defeating another one. And that will happen again with Greece and Rome. But when we are talking about the 6 and 7, we're speaking about the same nation. Now it's not China or Russia that is the seventh kingdom and they are conquering the United States. There's going to happen an internal conflict in the United States. The United States, the sixth in the first phase, because we know the United States is both the sixth and the seventh. And there's going to be a tension where there's a bad woman that wants to take the kingdom from the good woman. It's not another nation. That nation also has a woman. China, for example. No, it's not the beast of China wanting to take the beast of the sixth kingdom. Or I should have said the head of the sixth kingdom. No, it's an entity with an ideology within the United States that wants to take the head from the good woman. And when that happens, that head is no longer going to be called sixth head. It's now going to be called the seventh head. The seventh kingdom. So that is how we understand symbols A and B to be very useful, because then you know that there is a third party, a good woman over here. When these two other entities are committing fornication, you suddenly know it's not only fornication, it's actually adultery. And this can only happen because the transfer of power, it's happening within the same nation. Monica? I thought you were going to say
Yes,
something.
I have a problem.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's try to figure it out together.
How do we know it's adultery? How do we know it's not just fornication?
How
Well,
do I know?
not just, that's not a good word to use, but how do we know that this king is married?
Okay, we have symbol A and B. Symbol A, it's animal and a human riding the animal. Symbol B, I haven't explained it too much. Let's read it. Symbol A, first. At the middle of the verse, you can read it then, Thomas. It says, I saw a woman sit upon a beast. Yeah. Good. It's sitting upon the beast. Perfect. But that's not the only thing the woman is doing. Verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Two things. I'm not going to talk about the other things. I want to talk about two things. One, she sits upon beast. That's symbol A. Symbol B, that is actually in verse 2, is the fornication with the kings. So the word sitting upon it's about beast. It's sitting upon beast. One on top of the other. But when the word fornication comes, it's not beast.
You can commit fornication with a beast. It's part of the fornication is bestiality.
You could. In some way, but it's never mentioned in 17, in chapter 17. The word fornication is always tied to kings.
Okay.
Why? Because
Okay,
this is a human symbol.
Okay, human and human, but still this doesn't tell us that the king is married.
Sorry. Now you speak again. Sorry, we couldn't hear.
Still the word fornication doesn't tell us that the king is married.
Oh, yeah. We're just first separating symbol A and symbol B. First understanding the differences. Then, now we're going to have a verse that for me is going to mix the symbols a little bit. But that's what, for me, helped me understand that A and B are two symbols to describe the same thing. Verse 9. I'm going to jump, and then he says, the 7 heads are 7 mountains, which the woman sitteth on top. and there are 7 kings. I have a question. Are mountains and kings symbolizing the same thing? Seven mountains, 7 kings. Is it the same thing?
My understanding is yes.
What did you say, Monica? Sorry.
My understanding is yes.
My understanding too. So I have a question. When it says the woman sitteth on top, look at the word sitteth again. She's sitting upon what?
Kings, thrones. I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, it says mountains. Yeah, go ahead, Thomas. Sorry. To be fair with the verse, it says it's sitting upon the mountains. And that is good. You can sit upon a mountain. A human sits upon a mountain. That's totally fine. But then it says, but the mountains are 7 kings. And now the symbol doesn't fit. A woman cannot sit upon kings. Or maybe yes. So here's what I want us to see that sitting upon a beast is symbol A. But we know that this beast is actually subdivided into 7 periods. The beast has 7 heads. And basically, the woman is also sitting upon those 7 heads. Except one, of course. So what I'm wanting to say is that symbol A and symbol B, they are describing the same thing with different symbols. So when the woman is sitting upon a beast, she's committing fornication. So I would say kingdom 1 to 5. The woman is sitting upon a beast, correct? We know it is true. But prophecy is saying that whenever she's sitting upon the beast, she's also committing fornication because it's talking about the same thing. That is the same thing as sitting upon the beast. So I would say it's fornication in kingdom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then there's no fornication in 6 because she's not sitting. Remember that sitting and fornication, we can interchange. And then the fornication comes again because she sits again. So all instances, it is fornication. The question is now, what happens when when it is not a new kingdom conquering the previous one, but it's actually an internal conflict in the same nation. It's okay. From 1 to 5, one kingdom conquers the previous one. By kingdom, I mean that a new territory conquer another territory geographically. But now from 6 to 7, this is going to happen in the same territory. Yet it's going to be a transfer for one type of kingdom to another, the 6 to 7. And here's when that's one thing. The second is that the 6 had already a woman. Do you remember that there's a woman in Kingdom Kingdom 1? Is there a bad woman in Kingdom 1, Babylon? There is. It's the same woman. It jumps. It jumps from one person to another as long as they are controlled by Satan. They're all entities with ideology of Satan. But the 6 is the first time that the woman wants to take a kingdom that had another woman. Look, if this was the bad woman here, we could just say fornication. We could not say adultery. Because it's the same woman. But it's a different woman that tells us that, let's call it the 6th king. We're going to call it the 6th king. It's a person. Remember, the 6th kingdom, the head is a throne. This is what you have been taught. But in symbology, the word that it actually uses is king. So symbolically, it is a human. Good. Then the 6th kingdom has a good woman on top. This is the good woman. 6th kingdom. So the bad woman is here, and she's committing fornication with this king, which is the throne. But let's first understand it at the level of the symbology of Revelation 17. She she's committing fornication. But this king is not alone. This king was married. Let me ask you a question. Through parable rules, if this woman is committing fornication, fornication is a word for basically sex. But it's a bad word. Negative. How can we call the relationship that they two are having in the sixth? The sixth kingdom and the good woman. We cannot call it fornication. We have to call it something good. Because it is a lawful relationship. Because it's the ideology of God. It's good. So I don't know if we have a neutral, good word for a lawful sexual relationship. Yeah, but I think intercourse is not negative. I don't know. I'm going to call it
Lawful sex is marriage.
you call it marriage?
You said lawful sex, so that would be marriage according to the
Perfect.
Bible.
Let's call it lawful sex. It's happening in a proper setting, by the right laws or whatever. So fornication is bad. It's a negative sex. Something wrong is going on. But then in this one is good. That means the king. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so if you know that in the past it was actually the bad woman, I'm gonna put here, having sex with the king, these two are having sex, so that means they are in a relationship, but it is a negative one. And you know that when the good woman is in here, it's because they're also they're also having a relationship and they're married. But in this case, it is good. It is a divine relationship because this woman has the true ideology of God. So when the bad woman is trying to commit fornication and commits fornication with the king, then the king is committing adultery because he was married. That's how you understand it is adultery. It's not adultery in the other context because it's always the same woman. It's adultery here for the first time, A good woman, it's controlling a throne or is married with the king for the first time. It's not actually the first time, but in the first time of these 7 kingdoms. I made it too long. It was my fault. I was saying this woman is for the first time having a relationship with the king, the good woman. Yeah. No, don't worry. I'm making it too long. This is the first time the good woman is having a relationship with the kings. That's why when the bad woman comes again in the 7, it is not only fornication, it can be adultery too. But I don't know if my explanation is good enough. What do you think? That's why it is fornication, but also adultery.
I understand all
Oh,
the.
sorry. Thomas is making a question and then I give you time. Okay, continue, Thomas. Sorry. Okay. Thomas is asking, uh, he seems surprised, but the 6th kingdom, it's a relationship with a good woman. And he asked, what is the good ideology? What is this good woman? Is that the question? He's translating. Okay. Do you remember the good woman of Revelation 12? So Thomas is he knows that the good woman in Revelation 12 is the church, but that it's also the entity with ideology. Is that what you said? Um, it's more than just the church, you just said. Well, I think it is the church. Okay. I think this is how sometimes prophecy takes us by surprise. Because we were trained to say that the combination of church and state is bad. But I think Revelation 17 is telling us that what is bad is not the combination of culture, if you want to call it church and state. I don't want us to get confused about church and culture and ideology. We're talking about the same thing. We were trained to believe that they can never be mixed. But I think we're learning that it is bad only when the bad ideology is the one on top. But it's not bad when it is the good ideology. Let's walk through that very quickly. Do you all remember that the good woman, she fled to the wilderness? And then it says 12:15. It says, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. I hope we remember what moment is this when the earth held the woman. This is the woman during the 1260. She's being persecuted. She's almost going to be destroyed. But then the earth held the woman. What point in time is this? I'm going to put it in the whiteboard. Is this? This is the arrival of the sixth kingdom that came out of the earth. I guess what we always thought is that the woman fled to this new kingdom. And she was saved, living in that kingdom. But I think what we have to see now is that the woman actually built a kingdom. She became the ideology of this new kingdom. No, sorry, she didn't become the ideology. She seated upon the throne of that kingdom. We never thought that the good church, the ideology of God, that is the good woman, would be controlling a kingdom. Do you all remember this symbology from Acts 27? What's the name of a ship that is an institution, political institution with power, that is Alexandria? And what was the meaning of Alexandria? the protector of the people. So we know this kingdom that is from 1798 to 2024. July 18th, 2024, is the protector of the people. So, of course, the ideology of the good woman, it's controlling this kingdom. Kingdom of human rights, of religious freedom. And every president of the United States respected those rules. You may say that some went good, some were better, some were worse, but all of them respected those rules. The arrival of the bad woman, it's when one of those are going to go against everything that the good woman did. It was a process. There was a lot of work to be done for this woman to arrive again. But she finally did it. And if we talk about only the symbol A, the beast and horse, question, when did the bad woman sit upon the beast again? Date. Give me a date. When the bad woman seated upon the beast again. I'm gonna answer it. This is very, sorry? Okay. So if you go only by the symbol of the symbol A, sitting upon, and what you sit upon is the throne, you sit upon this throne, and you are the bad woman, you would only be able to say that this happens the full when Trump comes back to power. I know I haven't explained about Trump. I didn't have time. You you know that sitting upon only happens in January. But we don't have only symbol A, we have symbol B. And here where symbol B, we can see that it's much more complete and complex as well. It has more details. It tells us that adultery can happen before the physical touch. And that's why the date is moved to before January 20th. It's some moment before. Because you have A and B. If A gives you 20, January 20, and symbol B tells you that the sex also happens in January 20th, the physical moment, but based on Jesus' quote, we know that the adultery begun before. This is the moment where you have to find when the adultery happened in the mind. So I'm not sure if I have time to touch on that or if we should stop.
We already been going for hour and 40 minutes. So I think
Sorry?
we already have been going for 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Wow.
I think people are getting tired.
Well,
yeah.
I'm happy we arrived till this point. We simply talked about the transition point from one kingdom to another. And that is from the 6th to the 7th. But there's complexities in that transition. And the symbol that can explain that complexity better, it's symbol B, fornication. And that would be the key to arrive to July. For that, someone will have to answer Monica's question. How can a woman have commit fornication with a throne? A little clue for that would be the Ostrogoths. But we're not going to talk about it. Let's close with a word of prayer. Thank you, good Lord, for the opportunity of studying together again. Excuse me for going over time without noticing. I want us all to be able to go slowly and fully understand each step. I ask you that you may help all of us in this process. We are in the period of the latter rain. You have given us plenty of water already, but it's not enough. We need more light. Please help us to be in the right place to receive it, in the right mindset, as we are approaching the formalization, also called the loud cry. Save us all. I pray all of this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you, Monica.
I
Sorry
will-
for taking too long.